Welcome to FilmHead. Dear movie lovers, today we will know about top 10 of many Hollywood and other industries film that are related to Money Heist or Robbery Team. Don't forget to subscribe our channel to know new film updates. So let's start our journey. Number 10. Ambulance. Ambulance, the latest from director Michael Bay, is a film powered by the jittery force of will and blissful confidence that comes with doing cocaine. A tale of two estranged brothers, Danny and Will, and a heist gone wrong. Ambulance is based on a 2005 Danish picture of the same name. The original clocked in at a lean 76 minutes, but in the hands of Bay, a long-term advocate of the maxim, more is more. The story is pumped up, steroidal, and unwieldy. In films, the ensuing heist goes horribly wrong, forcing the duo to hijack an ambulance as a combination getaway vehicle so they can escape the police cruisers and SWAT vehicles and surveillance trucks surrounding the bank. The film opens on an emotionally manipulative register, panning over medical bills and pill bottles bathed in the same golden light that surrounds Will's saintly wife Amy as she cradles their newborn child. In short, Ambulance is all peak and no valley, a breathless roller coaster ride that's made all the more discombobulating by Bay's hyperkinetic shooting style. This movie never let you mind wander away. It will have your full concentration on the screen, right from the start till about 3 minutes before ending. It has a bit of everything, and you get to learn about the brothers and what their relationship is like, and they are adopted brothers, by the way. So yeah, very action-packed and emotional movie with a decent thought-out story, and I think that Michael Bay did a damn good job making this movie. Number 9. The Misfits. The charming actor clearly relished the chance to revisit that skill set in Rennie Harlin's The Misfits, fast and furious riff about a makeshift family of criminals who need Brosnan's expert lawbreaker to help them pull off the biggest heist of their careers. Pierce Brosnan plays Richard Pace, a well-known crook who is still doing some odd jobs but appears to be past his prime for thievery. Pierce Brosnan is the guy attempting to have fun at the worst party he would ever attend. At that point, the Misfits, a gang of thieves who see themselves as contemporary Robin Hoods, approach him. They are not after the money. Rather, they want Pace to assist them in stealing millions of gold bars that are purportedly being kept in a maximum security facility. The Misfits are led by Ringo, a bank robber, and Violet, a martial arts expert who loves kicking ass. They also include someone named Prince, no relation to the mega-talented musician, and Wick. But the real reason Pace gets involved is that the newest misfit happens to be his daughter Hope. However, anyone hoping that this wannabe franchise starter could be an action comeback for the former 007 should reconsider. After all, a second film in this series may lead a real-life group like the Misfits to plan a heist to try and steal its funding. It would be for the greater good. Number 8. Army of Thieves. Army of Thieves is a 2021 heist comedy film directed by Matthias Schweifer from a screenplay by Shay Hatton, based on a story he wrote with Zack Snyder. A prequel to Army of the Dead 2021, it is the second installment in the Army of the Dead franchise. It's a heist action movie that takes forever to get going, and its admittedly fun second half can't make up for the dull setup. Snyder stays on as a producer but hands directorial duties off to Matthias Schweifer, who played safecracker Dieter Ludwig in the zombie film. Army of Thieves is an enjoyable diversion with a winning performance from Matthias Schweifer, but a stunning lack of purpose. This movie was so suspenseful, had lots of action, little love story, and was lots of comedy. There's an immense satisfaction to relaxing into an old-fashioned genre film that's content to hit simple, familiar beats with finesse. No more, no less. And the low-stakes sturdiness of Army of Thieves marks it out as one of Netflix's more enjoyable originals of late. Overall, we can say that it is one of the best movies in a long time. Amazing storyline, cast, cinematography, and the comic timing also. Number 7. Honest Thief. Honest Thief is a pretty generic action thriller only really elevated by Liam Neeson's mere presence, but there just isn't anything all that special or memorable about it. Liam Neeson once again plays a man with a very particular set of skills, safecracking and bomb-making among them. In Honest Thief, a no-frills, low-thrills version of the kind of gritty action picture that has marked the veteran actor's late-stage career. Honest Thief falls somewhere in the middle of that range. It is extremely mediocre, giving its strong supporting cast little to work with beyond car chases and shallow characterizations. Neeson is solid and reliable at the center, as always. He takes everything seriously, every gravelly threat, every gut punch, and at 68, he's an incredible physical specimen to behold. But while he gives it his all, he's not getting much in return. Perfectly serviceable and utterly forgettable, Honest Thief nonetheless offers a few pleasing details to keep it from being a total slog. The writing is strong, soundtrack a good complement to the story, good editing to capture not just the action, but the fine acting as well. The acting ensemble is very good, including Kate Walsh as the romantic inspiration for Neeson's evolving self, Jeffrey Donovan as the very best of cops, and a list of strong characters. Number 6. 999. It is a film that cribs openly from Michael Mann and Sidney Lumet without understanding what really makes either director work. Occasionally, the overwhelming talent of the cast will elevate the material, but not nearly enough to shake the feeling when it's done that you could use a shower. The cast is so good and talented that the movie never had a chance to live up to the expectations most people had for it, but it came close. Lots of action, death, and twists, Gal Gadot in one of her few pre-Wonder Woman roles that completely underutilizes her, as they do with Aaron Paul, but there's just not enough movie to get all these great actors the time they deserve. The best scene in 999 is arguably its first real set piece, the robbery of a downtown Atlanta bank by former special ops mastermind Michael Atwood. Actually, we think this movie is made to aware audience about Procedure of 999. Despite many naysayers, Hillcoat completely delivers a palpable intensity through this film. Incredible performances by Casey Affleck, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Clifton Collins, Norman Reedus, and Woody Harrelson make it one of those rare action/suspense films worth watching. Number 5. The Vault. The Spanish heist movie The Vault, which is mostly set in or around Madrid's historic Bank of Spain building. The film from director John Balaguero is not the first recent caper to feature the Bank of Spain. There's also the ongoing Netflix series Money Heist, which debuted in 2017. And that's sort of the problem. The makers of The Vault don't seem to know how to show off the Bank of Spain, or any of their movies' other potentially attractive features. The Vault is a paint-by-numbers comedy about a group of diligent amateur bank robbers who search for a box filled with gold coins from the 17th century, led by blue-collar salvage expert Walter. Most of the plot is strictly formulaic. Walter and his fellow crew members scheme over building plans and computer monitors, improvise and double-cross each other whenever appropriate, and are often chased by Gustavo. All of the characters are likable, and the acting is pretty good. It has an open ending with the possibility of a sequel in the future. I would definitely be interested in seeing the story continue, especially with the link that this movie has with Sir Francis Drake. Anyway, it's about a good old bank heist in Spain during the 2010 World Cup. It was engaging from the start, but I was expecting the twist. Number 4. King of Thieves. A group of gray-haired members of British acting aristocracy, who had previously portrayed a variety of hustlers and thieves in their earlier roles, live in the heist movie King of Thieves. Michael Caine, who has played some of the most cunning and vicious criminals in movie history, is at the front of the group. That's a lot of robbery expertise for one movie, and the advanced ages of these actors make them as unlikely a band of suspects as the real-life crooks they portray. The caper was so intricate and well executed that investigators initially assumed it to be the handiwork of a much younger European robbery syndicate. Imagine the surprise when the true villains turned out to be several senior citizens with rap sheets as long as their lifespans. This film was also amazing at making us feel connected to the characters. Although we only get a brief insight into their past lives as serious criminals, that was just enough for us to feel empathetic towards them and understand them all individually. This also happens majorly towards the climactic ending, where each robber begins to lose faith in the others and we feel them becoming isolated once again. Only this time they all have a couple grand stashed somewhere. Overall, this is an excellent film based on a real event, but tweaked for the joy of its audience in a way that fits perfectly with its narrative. Number 3. Going in Style. Going in Style was co-produced by Steven Mnuchin, a hedge fund manager recently named Secretary of the U.S. Treasury by the irrepressible Donald Trump. Mnuchin amassed a fortune for himself during the 2009 financial crisis by investing in a mortgage bank that had a bad reputation of foreclosing on people's homes. He actually made investments in a number of these businesses. If someone believes that the age of irony is over, they ought to reconsider. Its stars are such pros. They're so enormously charismatic and have such lovely chemistry with each other. It's hard not to be charmed by their mere presence on screen. Kane, Freeman, and Arkin, Oscar winners, all know exactly what due to and how much of it to do, both individually and as an ensemble, every time. Cinematography separately, I would like to note the excellent and beautiful camera work of Rodney Charters, which positively influenced the film and created for him a memorable style. Besides the great plot, it will really make you think that the lower class in America really suffers. It's why they cannot afford to pay rent, have a roof over their heads, nor be able to buy food, all because of these banks and corporations which have cheated them. If only the money gap was separated equally among the people, no one would suffer. Anyways, in short, this movie will not disappoint. Number 2, Den of Thieves. The simplest thing to call Den of Thieves would be a heist thriller, but it's a relatively elaborate one. An underworld action drama that sprawls and digresses and for a while, at least, appears to have something on its mind. The film is set in Los Angeles, which is portrayed as the epicenter of bank robberies in the West. Christian Gyudgast, the filmmaker, captures the moodiness of the city's never-ending highway maze with a synth-pop aesthetic that is blatantly reminiscent of Michael Mann. The film coasts along on parallel narrative tracks, zeroing in on a team of renegade cops, led by Gerard Butler as a sensitive bruiser, as well as a crew of robbers who are planning to break into the LA branch of the Federal Reserve Bank, an impossibly locked-down fortress of money. In this movie, the thieves were more likable than the cops. At least that's what we think. The way the cops were portrayed made us, we'll never want to date one if that's how they really are. All in all, some of the scenes were a little over the top and made me say how TF did they get away with all thag, but overall we really liked this movie and already watched it again twice. The film is so well crafted, lots of realistic moments, and the best twist ever. We should have seen it coming, but we was pleasantly surprised. Definitely one of the best action films made for a long time. Number 1. Red Notice. Red Notice is a 2021 American action comedy film written and directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber, starring Dwayne Johnson alongside Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, and Ritu Arya. In this Netflix adventure movie about cops and art thieves in search of a rare treasure, Johnson goes through the motions with none of the pizzazz. Johnson plays John Hartley, an FBI profiler forced to team up with the expert art thief Nolan Booth when he is framed by the Bishop, rival art thief with a penchant for sabotage. Together, they form a triumvirate of stereotypes: the lawful strongman, the cunning jester, and the femme fatale. Constant rug pullings complicate this equation, though not in any genuinely surprising ways. The performances are too sleepy and perfunctory to pull off the film's many tricks and double crossings with any flair or oomph. The story revolves around a race to find and take possession of Cleopatra's 3 golden eggs, a la Indiana Jones. After making a crazy run through an art museum, Booth outmaneuvers Hartley in Rome, but in Bali, fate catches up with him. After becoming friends in a Russian jail, the two go to Valencia for a gala before hiding out in a South American jungle. The Rock, we feel, has been playing himself in a lot of movies lately, and although this isn't a major change, it is a step out in a new direction. Gal Gadot was stunning as always, and she brought a lot of humor and banter which we enjoyed immensely. And now for the one and only Ryan Reynolds. He was a godsend in this movie. His timing was perfect, all his jokes landed, and when he needed to get a little emotional, he did perfectly. The action was well action-packed. All the set pieces were diverse and interesting. The humor was top-notch.